students. So today I am back. I am back with your poetry, and the poem that I am going to do today with you is The Patriot. The poem which has been composed by Robert Browning. Robert Browning, who was a romantic poet, and he was born on May 7th, 1812 in Camberwell in London. And he had a very little formal education, but he learned a great deal from his father's library. Like, he used to visit his father's library, and from there only he had his formal education. He did not go for any formal education to any educational institution. So he was very influenced by his deep reading. Like, he was a voracious reader, so he read a lot, and from his readings only he got his knowledge. And Robert Browning was both a poet and a dramatist, and he is renowned for his dramatic monologues. Like, dramatic monologues, all of you know that. Monologue means when the narrator, he seems like talking to himself, like he is not addressing any public, he is not addressing any people, he seems like talking to himself. So Robert Browning is known for his dramatic monologues. So he was gifted with wonderful insight, like he had sympathy and he had very keen observation. He left for his heavenly abode in 1889, and on the same day his last volume of poetry, Asolando, it was also published. So now, after giving you a little information regarding the poet Robert Browning, now I'll start talking about the poem that I'm going to do with you today. That is The Patriot, which first appeared in Men and Women. That is the collection of his poems, collection of Robert Browning's poem. And this poem seems to have been a result of the poet's experience of the rise and fall of heroes in Italy, in Italy's struggle to free itself from Austria. So the poem Patriot depicts the fate of a hero who is glorified for his achievements. Like, people accorded a warm welcome on his return after a glorious victory. His path was strewn with flowers, roses, like he was welcomed greatly, and there was excellent decoration on churches with flags, with lights, and church bells were rung in his honor, and lots of people, like crowd, gathered to welcome him. The Patriot said that he was like that people, they presented their madness, they were madly full of zeal and enthusiasm to welcome this patriot when he returned after his victory. But now, 1 year later, all his esteem, all his renownedness, everything has fallen. He is being arrested, and now he is being led to the gallows, where people who had welcomed him, who were ready to do anything for him, now they have started hating him. Like, some of the people, they were even pelting stones at him. So despite all this situation, he is ironically optimist. Like, the patriot is little bit optimist, and he feels that God would reward him for in heaven, like for whatever he has done. Only God knows that he has done something good, and now he will be rewarded in heaven. While people, they have failed to recognize his services. Like, people in the poem, the poet has tried to present the fickle mindedness of the people, like how people, they forget the good being done by someone, like how very quickly they change their mind. Once they find someone doing good, they welcome him, or they shower accolades on him, they shower warm welcome to that person. But as soon as these people find that, okay, something wrong has been done by the same person, they turn their thoughts, and immediately they start accusing such person, and immediately they start hating such a person. So this is what the poet Robert Browning has tried to present in his poem. So this patriot, he feels safe in the bosom of God, and he says that even in this intense defeat, he finds like something is there which is consoling him, which is giving him relief. So through this very simple poem, the poet Robert Browning seems to give a message that anyone, any human being, like the patriot, can turn defeat into victory. He can turn despair into faith, and he can turn sorrow into joy. So the poem can be seen as a symbol of a rise and fall of leaders in different countries. And the poet Robert Browning has also used a mythological allusion in this poem. Like he has used an illusion, mythological illusion of Icarus in this poem. Icarus, who was the son of Daedalus, and this Icarus, he attached wings with his arms, and wings, and he used wax to attach these wings to his arms, and he started flying in the sky. But ignoring his father's warnings, like his father had told him that he should not fly too high, he ignored his father's warning, and he flew too near to the sun, where the wax started melting, and thus he plunged to death into the sea and lost his life. So through this allusion, the poet Robert Browning, he wants to bring forth how the ambitious people, how they meet their doom sometimes. Like over ambition is not good, and like he wants to tell us that he wants to present a story, or he wants to relate the patriot with Icarus, who was over ambitious, and because of his over ambition he had a tragic downfall. So the poet wants to tell us that over ambitions really leads to very sad ending, and really leads to the doom of the people. So this is what we are going to read in the poem. Hello students. So I'm here to begin with the paraphrasing of the poem The Patriot by Robert Browning. I'll be reading the poem, and I'll be explaining what the poet wants to convey through his poem. So I begin this poem, The Patriot by Robert Browning. It was roses all the way, with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. The house roof seemed to heave and sway, the church spires flamed. Such flags they had a year ago on this very day. So the poet, in the first verse of the poem, is conveying something which had happened 1 year ago. How he was welcomed, like after his victory, how the patriot, he has been welcomed by his countrymen, how he was welcomed. So in that way, he wants to say that it was roses all the way. Like his path was decorated with roses. People threw roses in his path. With myrtle mixed in my path like mad. So this myrtle, that is a sweet smelling flower. So he said roses were strewn in his path, and myrtle, a very sweet smelling flower, it was also decorated, it was also strewn in his path. It was flowers were laid in his path. Like mad means people, they behaved mad. They behaved mad with zeal and enthusiasm. They were full of zeal and enthusiasm in order to welcome the patriot. So in the first line of the verse, we have alliteration, where roses, like our word has been repeated. So we have the literary device alliteration here. In the second line also we have alliteration, where M has been repeated. Myrtle mixed my and mad. M, the consonant M has been repeated. So we have the use of alliteration in the second line as well. The third line now. The house roofs seem to heave and sway. Heave means breathe, and sway means rise and fall. Like it seemed like the house roofs, they were breathing, they were rising and they were falling. They were heaving, they were taking breath. The church spires flamed. So spire, you can say one pointed object. You can see the church, the top of the church, which is pointed, that has been referred here. The church spires flamed. The church spire was decorated. Such flags they had. They were decorated with flags and lights a year ago on this very day. So the church spire, the top of the church, they were decorated with lights, they were decorated with flags, and this is what he had, and this is what welcome he had 1 year ago. This was the situation 1 year ago when this patriot was welcomed by his countrymen, by his city people. The second verse now. The air broke into a mist with bells. The old walls rocked with the crowd and cries. Had I said, good folk, mere noise repels, but give me your sun from yonder skies. They had answered, and afterwards, what else? So the poet tells us other things like how what was the atmosphere when he was being welcomed, and how the people they reacted during his welcome. So he says the air broke. Air here signifies whole atmosphere. So he says the air broke into a mist with bells. So church bells were rung, and the noise of the church bell was like resounding in the atmosphere. The old walls are rocked with the crowd and cries. So the old walls of the churches, they were rocked, they started shaking with the crowd and cries. They started shaking with crowd here signifies people, and cries here signifies shouts, like people, they were shouting, they were welcoming him, they were shouting at him, and like they were shouting and cheering this patriot. So the walls, they were shaking because of the shouts, because of the cheering of the patriot. Had I said, good folk, mere noise repels. So he says, like, at that time, in 1 year ago, if he would have said, if he would have asked these people, good folk, oh good people, oh kind people, you are showering flowers on me. So mere noise repels means you just push away your revolt, like don't cheer me up like this, but rather than cheering, but give me your sun from yonder skies. I don't want your cheering. I want the sun over there. I want the sun. Please bring me sun. So these people, they were so happy with him that time that they would have accepted his request, and they would have brought the sun for him. So here we have the use of hyperbole. We have the use of exaggeration. The poet is using exaggeration, like it is not possible to bring the sun on earth. But the poet says, the patriot said that he was welcomed so much, the people were cheering him so madly, that at that time, if he would have asked for the sun from the sky, these people, they would have accepted his request, and they would have brought the sun also. They would have done the impossible in order to please him, in order to welcome him, or in order to honor him. So he is appreciating the enthusiasm of the people, like how people, they were so enthusiastic at that time that they would have done anything for this man, for the patriot. They were so impressed by his bravery, or they were so impressed by his deeds, that they were ready to do anything for him. But give me your sun from yonder skies. They had answered, like they would have answered, they would have accepted his request, and they would have brought the sun. They would have tried, they would have done everything possible to bring the sun on earth. And afterwards, what else? They were so excited by the patriot, that after bringing the sun, even they would have asked him, like, what else do you want? We have brought the sun for you. Do you want something else? So they would have brought something else even for him. They would have done anything for this patriot, for his bravery. Like, this is how the poet Robert Browning wants us to tell the situation. He wants us to tell the condition of the people, the mindset of the people, like how the people, they were so excited, how they were so happy with the deeds of the patriot, that they would have done anything for him. They would have gone to any extent in order to do something for this patriot, in order to please him. Now, the third verse. Alack. Alack means alas. It was I who leaped at the sun, to give it my loving friends to keep. Not man could do have I left undone. And you see my harvest, what I reap. This very day, now a year is run. Now, in the third verse, the poet tells us the situation of the patriot after 1 year. Like the first two verses, the patriot is talking about the situation. He's talking about the time 1 year ago. Like 1 year ago, when he had returned from his victory. How he was being welcomed by the people, how people, they were ready to do anything for him. But now in the third verse, the poet tells us the situation at the present, like this is the present time. He says, alack, alas, it was I who leaped at the sun. Leap means just jumped towards the sun. To give it my loving friends to keep. That means the patriot is saying that he had tried to do impossible task, like he did something impossible. He leaped at the sun, he went near the sun to bring it, or to give it to his friends, to give it to his countrymen. He did something impossible for his countrymen. Not man could do have I left undone. He says nothing, not means nothing. Nothing a man could do which he had left undone. Like he had done everything that a man could do. He had not left anything that is to be done for his countrymen. He has done everything for his countrymen. And you see my harvest, what I reap. Now he says, like, I left nothing undone for my countrymen, but now see what harvest. Harvest here refers to reward. What in return, what I am getting, what I have got. I have done everything for my countrymen, and see what is the reward that I have been given. And you see my harvest, what I reap. Reap signifies receiving, like see what reward I have received. See my reward that I have received from my countrymen now. This very day, now a year is run. See, after a year, year is run. Year is run means year has passed. So after 1 year has passed, see the reward that I have got. See the day to day, the reward that I have received for my good deeds. The reward that I have got from my countrymen for doing something good for them. Now the fourth verse. There's nobody on the housetops now, just a palsied few at the windows set. For the best of the sight is all allow, at the shambles gate, or better yet, by the very scaffold's foot I trow. Now he says that there's nobody on the housetops now. So a year ago, people were standing on the housetops. House roof seems like heaving by the crowd. But now there is no one standing on the roof to see him, to watch him. Just a palsied few. Palsied otherwise is a disease which makes the body trembling, which keeps the body trembling. So he says, just a palsied few at the window set. Only a few people who cannot stand, who cannot walk. You can say handicapped people. So just some handicapped people who are suffering from some diseases, they are sitting at the windows and they are watching me going. They are watching me. Otherwise, there is no one else standing on the roofs to see me, to watch me. For the best of the sight is all allow. Just why people are sitting at the window? So that they can have a better sight, so that they can have a better look at this man. They can have a better view of this man moving in the street. At the shambles gate, or better yet, by the very scaffold's foot I trow. This is at the shambles gate. Some of the people, they are standing at the shambles gate. Shamble is a place where a person is to be executed, a person is to be beheaded. At the shambles gate, or better yet. So some of the people, they are standing at the shambles gate to have a better view, to have a better look. By the very scaffold's foot I trow. So trow means I believe, and a scaffold is that platform where a criminal is executed, a person is beheaded. So he says, by the very scaffold, and some of the people, they are standing, some of the people, they are standing at the shambles gate, and some of the people, they are standing by the scaffold's foot, like they are standing near the platform where I am going to be executed. I true means I believe that they are standing near the scaffold's foot, or they are standing at the shambles gate just to have a better view. They want to see me killed. They want to see how I'll be dying now. Now the fifth verse. I go in the rain, and more than needs, a rope cuts both my wrists behind. And I think by the feel my forehead bleeds. For they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my years' misdeeds. So now the patriot says that I go in the rain, like he was being led, or he was being taken to the scaffold in rain. It was raining and he was being led towards the scaffold. And more than needs, and more than it was not required, but it was a long rope. A rope cuts both my wrists behind means more than needs, a rope cuts both my wrists behind means they had tied a rope to my wrists behind, like they had tied my hands behind, and they had used a rope, long rope, in order to tie my wrist. The rope which was not needed, they had tied my hands, my wrists with the rope. And I think by the feel my forehead bleeds. He says, I think since my hands were tied by a rope behind my body, I could feel bleeding. I could feel blood falling, blood flowing on my forehead. So he says, and I think by the feel, I could feel by the feel, I think that my forehead is bleeding. For they fling, whoever has a mind. Whoever means whosoever wants, whosoever has a mind, like whosoever wants to throw stone at me, whosoever wants to pelt stones at me, was flinging means throwing stones. So they were throwing stones at me. Whosoever wanted to show his abuse, or whosoever wanted to show his hatred, that person was throwing or pelting stones at me. Stones at me for my head's ears misdeeds. So these people, they were pelting stones at me for the misdeed that I might have done, or that I have done during this year. 1 year before, I was being welcomed very nicely. People were ready to do anything for me. But now 1 year later, when I did something wrong, I was being taken to the scaffold. I was and people, they wanted to have a better view of my killing, and now they were pelting stones at me. So this tells us how the people, they are very cruel. They are so fickle minded, like they cannot stick to one thing all the time. Like they keep changing their thoughts. Once they find a person doing something good, they will appreciate the person, and they will shower flowers on him, they will welcome him like anything, they will appreciate him. The moment they find the same person making any mistake, they will not take even a minute to change their thoughts, and they will turn against this person, and they will start abusing him, they will start accusing him, even they will pelt stones at such a person. Now the last verse, the poet says, the patriot is saying that, thus I entered and thus I go. This is the way I entered the city 1 year ago. This is how I entered the city, and this is how I was welcomed. And thus I go, and this is how I am leaving now. This is how I'm going. I'm humiliated now. Like 1 year ago, I entered the city amid honor, amid rejoicing. But this is how I am leaving. I am going now. I have been humiliated now. I have been insulted now. In triumphs, people have dropped down dead. Paid by the world, what dost thou owe me? God might question now instead. It's God shall repay. I am safer so. So now he says that, thus I entered and thus I go. So this is the way, amid rejoicing, amid honor, I entered, and this is how I have been humiliated now, and now I am leaving. In triumphs, in victory, people have dropped down dead. Like my victory and my happiness, everything has been dropped down now. Everything has been forgotten by the people now. Paid by the world, and this is how I have been rewarded now. What dost thou owe? He says, like, this is how I have been rewarded by the world. This is how I have been rewarded by the people. what dost thou owe? Like, what do you owe me now? Me, God might question. Now he says, like, what I'll be, how I'm rewarded now. Then he says, when I'll reach heaven, after I'll be killed, I'll go to heaven, and there God might question me, like, what, how you were rewarded by the people. Now instead, it's God shall repay, I am safer so. He says, like, he believes now, the patriot believes that he will be rewarded by God in heaven. Like, people on this earth, they did not value him, they did not they have forgotten what he has done, but he believes, he has full faith in God, and he is optimist here. He is believing that when he will go to heaven, God will really reward him for what he has done, and God is going to reward him, God will repay him, and he will be safe in the hands of God. He feels safe in the hands of God. So thus, in the end, the patriot is patriot's unbounded strength of faith. It has been presented in the poem. Like, he believes in God, he believes in ultimate truth, that is God, and he believes that the people on this earth, they are fickle minded, they have forgotten my good, they have forgotten what I have done for them, but it is the God who will really reward me for doing something good for the people. So he has firm faith in God, which is presented by the end of the poem. So in this poem, in the third verse, as I had told you about the illusion, we have the illusion. He has related Icarus with himself. The patriot has talked about Icarus, and he says that like Icarus went too near to the sun. In the same manner, it is I who brought the sun to give it to my countrymen, to give it to my friends. So here in the third verse, we had that illusion of Icarus. So this is how the poem comes to an end. Hope you will learn something from the poem, and you will come to know the irony which the poet Robert Browning wants to present through his poem, that the patriot, he is being led to the gallows, he is about to die now, still he feels safe in the hands of God. He feels that he will be safe and God is going to reward him. So he has an unending faith in the ways of God, and it is irony that in spite of the fact that he is about to lose his life, he is about to die, he believes safe. He thinks that he will be safe in the hands of God. So thank you for watching. Do watch my next videos with next poems. Thank you.